That's what I want to talk to you about today is like, how do traditional book publishers work? Because I want you to understand that it is not rocket science. It's actually something that all of us are capable of doing, although there are a lot of moving parts and doing it all by yourself is very difficult. So let's just get into it. Acquisition process. How does it work? How are projects acquired inside of a publishing company? Oftentimes, it follows this process. First, what happens is that your agent or you send your project into the editor, and an editor looks at it, and if they really like it and they're excited and are interested in acquiring it, the first thing they would do is bring it to what's called the editorial meeting. And that is a meeting just with the other editors in their imprint where they share it and talk about it and what are its strengths, what are its weaknesses, do they think it's strong enough overall to bring to the acquisitions meeting. If everybody agrees, yes, this looks really good, let's bring it to the acquisitions meeting, then the editor needs to usually put together an acquisitions proposal, which would be probably a standard template that the imprint or publisher has where they fill in certain information about the proposed book, and then they do a P&L, a profit and loss statement. The profit and loss statement is where they kind of plug in numbers to figure out how much is this book going to cost to print and how much can we afford to pay the creator. Sometimes the editor will go and put in their numbers for P&L and right away it does not work at all. So then they do lots of stuff to try to make it work. Not scientific. Let me just put it that way. Then what happens is they bring the project to the acquisitions meeting, and at the acquisitions meeting, that's where the big wigs from the company are going to be. The publisher would be there, and then the head of marketing would be there, the head of sales would be there, and maybe certain important people from the sales department and the marketing department would be there. The foreign rights department might be there. You might even have the head of the design department would be at this meeting. So the editor has to go in front of these people, present the project, and everybody discusses it and they decide whether they're going to move forward with it or not. If the editor presents it and gets the green light, yes, you can make an offer, then what they would do is go back and write up an offer that they would send to the creator or to the literary agent. Usually this comes in the form of something called a deal memo. It's a standardized format of listing the major terms that the publisher is offering to the creator. Sometimes publishers, especially not big five publishers, but smaller publishers, might send an email with just a few lines that just says, here's the advance and the royalty rate. That's it. And is this okay with you? Yeah, there's a lot of variation, especially among smaller presses and how they deal with this. Once you and or your agent have negotiated with the editor about the deal terms, and then you've come to an agreement, then that would be passed to the contracts department. And then the contracts department puts together a big long contract that they then send over to the agent or to you. That has a lot more detail that hasn't been negotiated. So there's a whole other round of negotiation that would happen then with the contract. And oftentimes publishers are very behind, overloaded, and so contracts could take a very long time. You might agree to a deal in October and then not get a contract until January or later. My advice for all graphic novelists who are doing a deal with traditional book publishers is do not accept production deadlines that you're given right off the bat. You should always double, triple check them and talk to your agent, talk to your editor if you feel like anything in the schedule seems unrealistic, because it is much better to talk about it upfront than to just say, I guess they know better than I do, I'll just accept it. Don't do that. Always, always, always pay a lot of attention to the production schedule. I really just wanted to give you a very quick general sense of what's going on in the traditional book publishing world. I think that's a wrap for today. Thanks, everybody.